Let me describe a situation that probably sounds familiar to you. You've been capturing Google Click IDs in your CRM for months. You finally get everything set up. Offline conversion action created, CSV built, data uploaded. You've got 90 days of closed deals in there. And then you check Google Ads and it's showing 0 conversions. So you go to Google support and they say it's because the conversion action didn't exist at the time of the click. You post in a forum somewhere and someone says, no, actually that's wrong. It's actually the 90-day Google Click ID window. The diagnostic screen says 99% successful and the UI says nothing changed. Meanwhile, a live API connection from your CRM is working totally fine for new conversions. Same Google Click ID, different results. So that's actually what this video is about today. Why that happens, what's different between CSV and API uploads under the hood, and when it honestly makes sense to stop fighting the backfill and just build something that works going forward. So how does this actually work? For both CSV and API, Google needs the same basic stuff. A Google Click ID, a conversion action name or ID, a timestamp, and optionally a value, and some enhanced conversion data like email or phone number. Then Google takes that Google Click ID, looks up the click it came from, checks whether it's still inside the attribution window and the 90-day Google Click ID lifetime, and then credits the conversion back to the campaign, ad group, and keyword that drove it. Simple enough, right? The problem is there are a bunch of things that can go wrong, and a CSV surfaces all of them at once. So why do CSV backfills fall apart? The 90-day window is the first thing to check. If you're doing a big backfill and a chunk of your data is from 4 or 5 months ago, those Google Click IDs are just gone. You can upload them all day and nothing will happen. Google can't match them anymore. Then there's the time zone thing, which actually trips people up more than you think. A lot of CRMs actually export timestamps in UTC or server local time. Google expects the timestamp to match your account's time zone. If there's even an hour of mismatch, you can end up with rows that look like the conversion happened before the click. And of course, Google throws those out. Then there's the conversion action name. It has to match exactly what's in Google Ads, character for character. And you have to make sure you're using the right counting method, the right attribution window, and that the action was already set up and active before you upload. What makes all of this brutal is that the CSV does not give you great feedback. You upload the file, it says 99% successful, and you think you're done. But successful just means that the rows were formatted well enough to be processed. It doesn't mean conversions actually showed up anywhere, especially if your conversion action is set to secondary, which means it shows up in all conversions columns and not just the conversions column, which is what most people are looking at. So you end up with this maddening situation where everything looks fine but nothing has changed. So why does pushing offline conversion data via the API feel so much better? When your CRM or a tool like formtracker.app, no E, pushes a conversion via API, it's happening close to real time. Same day, sometimes within hours of a lead being marked qualified or won. The Google Click ID is still fresh. The conversion action already exists. And the formatting, time zones, and action IDs are all handled in code, not in a spreadsheet that you're editing by hand. FormTracker is basically designed around this problem, and it's the main reason why I built it. The way it works is pretty simple. You drop a script on your site, and it starts capturing form fills automatically, along with the Google Click ID, UTMs, refer, landing page, everything. Then you have a dashboard where you can look at the leads, mark them as MQL when they're worth a conversation, mark them as won when they close, and add a deal value. When you do that, FormTracker pushes the conversion to Google Ads via the API, and everything is formatted correctly. And you get upload logs, so you can see what conversions went through correctly and which ones didn't, instead of staring at a CSV that says successful and hoping for the best. It's not magic, it's still Google Click IDs and metadata, same as the CSV. It just removes all the manual steps where things go wrong. So, should you even bother with the backfill? This is the part where I think a lot of people get emotionally stuck on, and I get it. You've got months of data sitting in your CRM, and it feels wrong to just leave it on the table. But here's how I'd actually think about it. First, how old is the data? If a meaningful chunk is beyond 90 days, then it's already gone. Nothing you do will bring it back. Second, even for the data within the window, how much will it actually move the needle? Smart bidding actually cares most about the last 30 to 45 days. Uploading 6-month-old conversions might nudge things slightly, but probably not enough to justify the hours you'd spend debugging it. And that's the third question. What else could you do with that time? Every hour you spend rebuilding a CSV is an hour you're not improving your offer, your landing page, your ad copy, and your targeting. The smarter play for most accounts is to get a clean, reliable system in place going forward. And if you have a limited recent backfill, that's easy to do. Say the last 30 days, formatted correctly, then great, do that. But if it's a multi-month debugging project, I'd honestly just let it go. So let's talk about what going forward looks like in practice, because this is actually where the time is worth spending. The goal is actually pretty simple. Every lead that turns into real pipeline and every deal that closes should be hitting Google Ads automatically, consistently, without you touching a spreadsheet. With Form Tracker, the flow is script on the site captures every form submission with the Google Click ID and UTM data. Leads show up in the dashboard. You or the sales team mark them as MQL or 1 as they progress with real deal values, and Form Tracker just handles the API upload in the background. Google Ads starts seeing the difference between a form fill from someone who bounced after one call and a deal that actually closed for $8,000. That signal is actually what makes smart bidding work for lead gen. And it's basically impossible to give it that signal cleanly with a manual CSV process. If you're also running a CRM, Form Tracker does connect through Zapier, so you can send leads that converted into customers into HubSpot, Pipedrive, Salesforce, whatever you're using, so long as it has a Zapier connection. The CRM handles the customer side, Form Tracker handles the leads and the feedback loop, sending offline conversion data back to Google Ads. So in short, CSV uploads are fine for a one-off test or a quick import, but it's not a system. Using it as the backbone of your offline conversion tracking is kind of like manually backing up files instead of setting up automatic backup. It works until it doesn't, and when it breaks, you might not notice for a while. The move is to treat offline conversion tracking like infrastructure, something that runs in the background every day without you managing it. When that's in place, smart bidding learns on what actually becomes revenue, not just whoever fills out the form. All right, that's it for today's video. I hope you found it helpful. And as always, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. I'll catch you on the next one.